Hi, Jamie Cohen with Cohen and Brosh Law Offices. I'm here today to talk to you about the H-1B visa. The H-1B is the most popular non-immigrant work visa. It's designed for people with professional occupations like computer programmers, engineers, teachers, accountants, and many others. The main requirements are that you have a university degree and that an employer in the United States has offered you a position as a professional. Sounds pretty simple, right? Well, there's a big caveat. Unfortunately, there's an annual limitation on the number of available visas every year. There's 60,000 for those with at least a bachelor's degree, and another 20,000 for those with master's degrees or higher that have them from U.S. universities. So normally, there are around 250,000 applications every year that are submitted. So what happens with all these applications when there's such a limit on the number of visas? Well, all the applications are kind of thrown into a lottery. And so whether or not you get chosen is determined by a lottery. This past year, the U.S. Immigration Service made a significant change in how applicants are chosen and how paperwork is submitted. And we assume that this is the way it's going to be now for the foreseeable future. In March, employers register with the Immigration Service the names of potential applicants. So if you have an employer who's interested in you to be hired as an H-1B, then they have to register you first in March. Then at the beginning of April, the selection is actually made by a lottery. And those that were selected at that time may submit petitions for those applicants from May through June. So in other words, the employer is the one that's actually submitting the petition on your behalf. You just have to wait for the process. And then beginning in August, additional applicants may be selected because the number of petitions were less than the visas were allowed. The actual visa itself doesn't become available until October 1. Now, is that confusing? Probably. But that's part of the reason is because of the number of applications that are filed versus the limit on the number of visas that are actually available. So what is the process that the employer goes through? First of all, a U.S. employer must first determine the prevailing wage for the position for which you're going to be offered. And then, once they determine that prevailing wage, they must post their desire to hire that person at their employment location. They can post it on a bulletin board or on an electronic bulletin board or whatever. And then they file the documents with the Department of Labor that certifies whether the wage is correct for that particular position. Once that's all done, then the case is ready to be filed with the Immigration Service, but then of course you have to wait until and if your application has been selected by the Immigration Service through the lottery. If it is, then the employer files the petition with the Immigration Service for you, for the applicant, including the relevant educational documents. As I said before, in almost all cases, you have to show that you have at least a bachelor's degree in the field in which you're going to be working. Now, if you received your education outside of the United States, then your educational transcription diploma are going to have to be submitted to an educational credentialing service that compares your education to the U.S. degrees. The employer then must also show how the position normally requires a bachelor's degree to achieve this particular position. So, if you're a graduate from a university and a U.S. employer wants to hire you, then the H-1B is probably the way to go. But you've got to remember that there's a limitation on the number of visas, and there's going to be a significant delay from when you are interested in getting the visa and when you can actually get one. And if an employer suddenly wants to hire you, let's say it's in November, December, and suddenly wants to hire you, the visa itself will not be even available, even if you are selected in the lottery, until the following October. So there's a delay because of the number of visas that are available. But again, it may be worth it because it's the easiest visa to get, the easiest work visa to get to the United States. You just have to somehow get through the lottery program. If you're interested, please contact us below at the website. We hope we can help you. Good luck.